take it apart and have a look how it went together and what it looks like inside. Scrub off some of that loose rust first. So here we have a starter motor from a Yamaha. I've taken the 2 pins out which hold it together, the ends, and now I'm going to open it up. See, there's an O-ring there. Pretty caught on both sides. So I'm just going to slowly peel that away. There's an O-ring on this edge. It's a very delicate O-ring by the looks of it. These are the brushes, left and right, and I think in order to get it out I need to unhook them. We're going to push it to the other side, take the other off, and remove the back plate. And now we can take out the core. There we go. Seems to be 2 washers on this end, and that is our stator, I believe. It looks clean, no corrosion. I believe there's also another washer down there. And that is going to be our insulating washer. There we go. That goes on the end here. So my goal here is to clean up the outside and respray it, because as you can see it's quite corroded. Probably replace this O-ring. There's bearings contained in there. As you can see, I want to replace this O-ring, clean up the outside and respray it, without damaging those O-rings or bearings or seals inside, and without causing too much magnetic dust on that also. This is one of the poles. It slides in, comes out like that, and then this unit, little armature, comes out, and so does this piece. There is a small indent on this side. As you can see, that matches the indent on this side here. Looks to be in good condition. There's plenty of life left on the brushes. I will of course be roughing this up with sandpaper according to the manual and doing the measurements of the amount that it's worn to see if it's good or it needs replacing. Just going to plug that hole so that it stays clean. I managed to remove the end cap. I just gave it a bit of a tap and it just slid off. So now I'm left with the tube, the center tube full of magnets. I'm going to get this O-ring off. And this can now have a good cleanup. After a bit of cleanup, I need to do this side, but it's already showing up so clean. It's coming out well. So after some extensive sanding and spray painting, we've managed to get it looking like this. It's much better, much cleaner. And the end caps are also repainted, looking pretty good. There's still some pitting from the corrosion on the edge here, but with sealant I think it'll be totally fine. It's not going to get inside, and that's the main thing. So now we can begin reassembly. First thing, before we reassemble, first thing to do is to follow the manual, which is just to inspect the armature. This looks fine. Next thing we're going to do is measure, this is called the commutator. So we're going to measure the commutator diameter. So it should be around 28. The limit of how much it can wear is 27. 28.4. Yeah, so that's perfect. It's actually bigger than what we are recommended, 28. So that means it hasn't worn down. You can see these bands. These are the worn areas. So I'm going to measure the bottom. That's 28.17, 28.1, and then in the most worn part, 28.03, and at the edge, 28.05. So that's perfect. Absolutely no problems there. You can also measure the commutator undercut using a feeler gauge, but I'm not going to do that because I think it's fine. This was running before I took it off, so. Next thing I recommend to do is take some 600 grit sandpaper and just sand this. I don't have 600 grit, I only have 400, but I think that will be fine because I'm just going to give it a light sand. It's looking pretty good. Much better. Now we're going to begin reassembly. So for reassembly, there's 2 metal washers to go onto these first, then our insulating washer. I have some Tiger Seal. This stuff's pretty good, so it's also really messy though. So with a bit of this, I think it should be good. Just going to dry fit everything first and just see how it's going to go together. The other thing we can check is our brush length. Let's have a look at these. I'm measuring from the center. That's 11.5, 11.6. The minimum wear limit is 6.5, so there's plenty of life left in this. And all the others are similar size. Yeah, all around 11. Now there was this tiny rubber seal, and I took it off. Tiger Seal fully set from last time I used it, so just cut the side open because it's only a little bit left. And apply it to the base. Then there's 2 fibre washers. And the bigger washer. There's this small nut. Just to seal that. I'm going to apply some Tiger Seal around this edge. Now we're going to apply this part first. Now we're going to slide this piece on. I'm also going to apply some Tiger Seal around this edge. The next step before the armature is placed in fully is to place the brushes on the inside. So I found by zip tying the brushes back into themselves, I can get the brushes onto the commutator. Pretty difficult to do, but the trick is to get the brush in place. Form a loop, slide it one end onto the brush, and then just on the top part of the brush you start pulling it in. Like that. And the last one to do. Once you have secured all 4 brushes onto the commutator and you start to push it down, you can then Tiger Seal everywhere. You can then take them off. I'm just going to put this end on first. Reseal that. Now, before I take them all off, I just want to make sure I have everything in place for the next stage of the reassembly. The washers are in place. The next stage is putting this on. Okay. Now we're going to remove the zip ties. Make sure when you remove them you put pressure on this ring so that it can't pop back up. Now it's on. Just going to give that a brush. Make sure no contaminants are on there. Now, I'm going to secure it the other end. These bolts should be 6.4 Newton meters of torque. Put a torque wrench here, and I'm just gonna gently tighten them together. Make sure it turns. That is turning okay. The last thing I'm going to do is apply a bit more Tiger Seal. Just wipe it into a smooth seal. And that's it. Restored starter motor. There's only one other thing to mention. That's the end seal, which was here. I have ordered another one of those. It was quite expensive. So after some extensive charging of the battery and stressing about buying a new starter because I thought it was broken when the battery was dead yesterday, I can confirm it runs. And it runs well. Oh, Jesus. And it runs well. This saves me 460 euros for a new starter. I am so happy that this works. This just goes to show that it is worth trying to fix things yourself, because you just don't know how much money you can save until you've saved it. Thank you for watching.